Episode 7, entitled Pit of Doom, is a cool episode with good action scenes, but for the most part it's not very different from episodes 2 and 3 in that it is very inconsequential to the plot, with one big exception. So like those episodes, I'm going to be going through the plot and then backtrack to check on character growth. We start with Chiro reacting to some formless running amok in Shugazun. Chiro, just as he's about to take out the formless, gets the gun jumped in front of him by several members of the team. As such, it seems the citizens of Shugazun believe that the monkeys do all the work, and Chiro seems to appear as some sort of keeper. Also, much like I said back in episode 1, you might want to remember some of these minor characters since future episodes will feature them, such as Burger Man Mr. Gag Slapper and Ma and Pa Shenko. Oh, I hate them so. I won't get into why. So that's all the way in season 4, but oh, I hate them. Anyways, as the monkey team flies to the roof together with the rest of the formless, Chiro is forced to use the stairs since he missed the elevator. But we see that the elevator he missed has no buttons and a strange old man.
Excuse me, where are this elevator's buttons?
Back from commercial, the monkey team handles the situation rather easily without Chiro. When Chiro walks back down the stairs again, we bump into that bully guy whose name escapes me, but we keep seeing him. Apparently his partner in crime has gone missing, as well as the rest of the citizens of Shugazun. While wandering the city, we see the bully guy stupidly go into the same elevator and disappear. Chiro notices the elevator and the fact that formless are going in and out of it, so he sneaks in to find out it is a trap. Chiro defeats the formless, but when going after the old man in the elevator, he finds himself flipped upside down and plummeting into a pit. Well, more like a pit of slavery, as we see the citizens of Shugazun, including... Focus. The citizens are digging the pit deeper for reasons unknown to us. Before Chiro can do anything, he gets zapped and taken prisoner with a broken communicator. Chiro realizes he can contact the team via the power of Primate, so he does.
Monkey team, hear me.
The team are unsure of Chiro's location, but notice a blip hopping around the city. They connect the blip to the elevator without buttons. The elevator seems to only be going after people, so the team dons some rather unique disguises.
We have an elevator to catch.
This is all wrong. It is not in my character to play such an undignified role.
Don't be such a baby.
The team blow their cover when they find the pit and start attacking the formless, until Skeleton King uses Chiro as a means to make the team surrender. As Skeleton King monologues to the prisoned Hyperforce, Chiro apologizes for... no real reason.
Sometimes
I'll get into this in a bit. The team realizes they are still on Shugazun and use Chiro as some kind of vessel to remotely call the robot and bust everyone out of the prison? I guess, whatever. The formless come together to create a giant formless monster, but Chiro goes full Rambo on them and destroys them all with their artillery. And everyone is freed. As everyone is freed, it seems like this is the end of the episode. Aren't we forgetting something? Oh yeah, the elevator guy, who is actually some kind of elevator monster. There's the buttons. He seems to have the ability to teleport at will and summon objects. One quick note here. The scene where Nova gets pelted with swords and whatnot always seems to be missing a scene to me. Watch closely.
I don't think so, ugly.
Missing the point of impact much? I guess that's censorship. Anyways, Gibson learns the team needs to mess up the elevator monster with the magnetic field inside of him. Obviously, Sparks is magnetic, but how do you get inside him? One of those claws of Antari seems to pierce the monster. The team gets a statue, Chiro gets a jetpack, and all seems well. But there is one thing that keeps this episode from being a standalone tale.
At least part of my plan was realized.
That pit the citizens were digging is actually going to be the catalyst for arguably the most significant event in the entire series. But that will be for when we get to the Season 2 finale. This episode is fine, with good action and comedy, and the elevator monster has that really great, creepy villain feel, but it just feels like not a lot was done in this episode. As far as character development, we actually get our first real insight into Skeleton King. Skeleton King up until this point has had this Dr. Doofenshmirtz way of getting things done, trying plan after plan, and each one failing. But it seems there's some kind of bigger scheme in the works here, and that there's a method to his madness somewhere. Chiro, being the somewhat arrogant type, doesn't seem to take a shine to the team upstaging his rescues. Although, to be fair, he did the exact same thing in episode 1. Chiro, however, is learning to use the Power Primate more and more and is taking shape of a true leader that he needs to be. One thing that did bother me, however, is his apology as the team gets captured.
It's all my fault.
Sometimes even heroes need help.
I tried to call you with the Power Primate.
And we came, did we not?
So the lesson here is when you are in trouble, call for help? But he did. It's not his fault the team got caught too. Although the positive of this scene is we do get our first real sign of Antari trying to act as this fatherly figure for Chiro that will soon become a recurring theme in the series. Which up until now, the closest thing to a real mentor that Chiro has had is Sparks. Which I honestly never caught onto until starting this series. Heck, even in this episode, Sparks is the only one who tries to help Chiro when they all leave after the Formless fight.
Give you a lift, kid.
Hey, I can walk, you know. I don't need help with that. I mean, I was all over those Formless.
If you say so, kid.
I was!
Speaking of the Formless fight, I want to touch on the fact that another development in Antari's character we learned in the last episode. In episode 6, while the team was using their new moves to defeat the Hyper-Formless, Antari seemed a bit over-dramatic and showy when doing his move, and even kinda does it in the first episode, now that I think about it. And going back to this episode, when Spark uses a lot of energy to take out one Formless, Antari mentions how he was overdoing it. Antari then proceeds to overdo it. I don't think this is Antari showing off or being cocky, since he never outright brags, but rather it seems that Antari just has a flair for the dramatic and making sure the job gets done. Gibson and Otto, we don't learn much new. Gibson uses logic to find Chiro and complains when the smartest person on the team is relegated to playing a child. Otto makes a joke here and there, being a comedy relief for the team, although, again, we know he is much smarter than he lets on. On the surface, Nova and Sparks don't really change either, although there is something I've been avoiding up until this episode. Do I have to spell it out for you?
Well, sweetheart, looks like your dream has finally come true.
Your dream, my nightmare.
Sparks and Nova is the only logical canon love pairing in the show. While we see hints of it earlier in the series, this is the first clue that Sparks has feelings for Nova, and that Nova honestly seems like she would rather not take part.
Looks like your
You know, it's funny.
finally come true.
Last time I reviewed the characters' individual growth, our three main focus characters didn't change, but everyone else did. This time around is the complete opposite of that. We will explore more various relationships as we get into the very popular episode 8.
City, our celebration awaits on the roof!
I think we'll just take the stairs.